Exactly. The first whole episode is about, I want to be Darth Vader. My grandfather was Darth Vader. Darth Vader's the bomb. Snoke's like, hey, your helmet's stupid. Oh, damn it. Let me hit it against this elevator. And also, I look good without a shirt.
Well, between
new episode. Not this with my grandfather.
between episodes.
What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen,
There was only one time.
welcome to the Unhappy Cyclops. This is season 3, episode 1.
Season 3.
We are very excited to be here. I hope everybody had a great holiday and a happy new year. And I hope you're keeping up with all your New Year's resolutions. We have special guests today, but before
Yes,
we
we
introduce
do.
them,
Yeah.
let's introduce the usual suspects. I have Blanco over here. And of course, we have the only one, Iceman.
May the force be with you.
And it is. Thank you very much. We also have 2 special guests with us today. We have Chandler Pennington. He's in town for a few days, so he is here gracing us with his presence, with his bearded
Should
presence.
I do a tag like they did?
Absolutely.
Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie. That was my tag.
Yikes, we're going to have to put some sound effects in on post-production.
Edit that out. No,
Did we decide what name he's going by? Is he going by Candy
It's
or
Well,
Shandy?
he's
I
Chandler
think-
Pennington,
yes, thank
a.k.a.
you.
Chan Reckless, but
Yes.
also Candy.
Yeah.
Candy. I'm
Man
going
of
with-
many names.
I'm going with Candy.
I'm going
for
with
this.
Candy.
That's fine.
I'm
Okay,
going
that's
with
fine.
Candy. I'm going with Candy. So Candy is a playwright.
Candy pants.
He is also a rapper. You can find Dirty Sexy at Bandcamp. Is that correct?
Yes. That is my rap group. Yes.
Dirty Sexy.
Yes.
God, that's
And
so
you better check
amazing.
it out because he is dirty and sexy.
Yes.
So I see where it is.
I've actually heard you rap, and he's not bad.
He's not bad at all. Watch out for
not
the
good
nobodies. He's also in a podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Starting it up. Coming soon.
Uh-huh.
January, hopefully.
All right.
This is January.
And
Well.
the podcast is called The Nobodies.
Maybe it's out already then. Who knows?
Is it on Spotify?
That's step 2.
Son of a bitch.
Exactly. You've been telling me to get this on Spotify for the last 8 months.
Well, then you told me it was hard. So
Candy, we are happy to have you. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
over, man.
Happy to be
We
here.
also have Andrei, a.k.a.
Constantinescu.
Dr. Dre. How's it
Hey
going,
everybody,
man?
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, let me do a Star Wars tag. Hey, Star Wars!
There we go.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Dr. Dre over here, he's a
he
casting
hasn't seen
director.
any of the movies.
Wait, what Star Wars tag was that?
Oh, sorry.
I literally want to know what tag that was.
It's just a general.
It's just like a
Hey,
general.
Star Wars.
Random alien number 3 in the crowd.
It's just a general positive Star Wars.
That's
vibe,
right.
You know, hey, you know, nobody said it had to be a line. There are no rules. He is a casting director here in the DFW area. I understand. Movie
sir.
producer as well, and Dr. Dre has his own legacy casting company. You can find it on Twitter and Facebook at Legacy Casting.
Actually,
got it. That's
everything that I've ever done in film was been because of Andrei Constantinescu.
There we go. So we have like a ladder here going on
Yes.
situation.
It's a pay it
And at the
forward
top-
situation.
Yeah.
God Almighty Himself.
That's right.
Praise up. Praise up.
Hallelujah. So we're very happy to be here
George
today.
Lucas.
As is tradition, Happy Cyclops tradition, we are doing a Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
It's weird how that's starting to work out.
Thank you, Disney.
Thank you, Disney.
Never thought I would
Providing
say
us
that.
content.
It's a win-win. It's a
Right
win-win.
at the top of the chain above God is
Yeah.
One wrong above.
Exactly.
They own God now.
They own that God
They bought the
copyright.
rights from the Vatican.
The Bible, yes, Disney owns it.
They're going to start
Of
making a
course.
killing on those stories.
Once. So as is tradition, we're having a Star Wars episode. So this time we're gonna do like an It's Debatable type of situation with Iceman over here is going to be our moderator.
That's debatable.
Our judge, our symbol of justice and hope and the American way. Dr. Dre and Candy, they're going to represent the light side.
They're going to argue
the
for the
Force.
rebellion.
Yeah, they're going. They
Yeah.
think the movie was good
The
or
resistance.
great
Good
or
flick.
something not terrible. And Blanco and myself are going to be the dark side of the Force,
Or a cat,
because
whichever one.
or a pretty purring kitty, because we think it was pretty awful.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
So
There's no question about
team unhappy Cyclops versus
Basically,
happy-go-lucky special
Yes.
guest.
it. Yeah.
All
Team
right.
happy.
nice way to put it.
Yeah,
So,
special.
moderator,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand it over to you.
All right, guys. Are we ready to talk about Star Wars?
I've been ready since I've seen the damn thing.
The
Oh
Last
my God.
Jedi. The Last Jedi?
Oh, is this a grammar podcast now?
Right.
We're just going to argue semantics for the next hour. Did Luke mean?
Yeah.
Somebody
Well,
put
you
it-
know, Disney was anti-semantic, so.
Let's start off with our special guest, Sir Candy.
General impressions of this movie were that it was fun, that it was exciting,
Uh-huh.
a little bit sexy where it needed to be.
All
All
right.
And
Talking about
The
where-
Kylo nipples, of
I'm
course.
talking about the
Oh, I thought
sexual tension between
I thought
Kylo
it-
Ren.
I'm going to
Yes.
concede that point immediately.
Yeah, I thought it was the sexual
Yes.
tension between Luke Skywalker and that weird alien.
Between-
he was like
Oh my
jacking it
God,
off.
that
And
Yeah.
But we'll get there. But we'll
Okay,
get there.
okay,
Hey,
yeah,
right
yeah.
now this is his.
And the
this is-
continuing sexual tension between Luke and Leia.
Just so
I'm
you
glad
guys
that
know.
thread wasn't dropped.
Just so you guys know, this is an E rating, explicit rating on this podcast, so we
Oh.
can go all in.
yeah,
man.
okay.
Okay. Oh, E is for explicit.
Yeah.
I was thinking like video games.
E
where it's
is
for
for
everyone.
No,
I was like, oops.
Definitely not.
Uh,
So
yeah.
sexiness is where you left off.
Yeah,
Okay.
the appropriate amount of sexiness,
Okay.
the appropriate amount of incestual undertones, and way more cool-ass dust planets than I ever knew I needed from a Star Wars movie,
Okay.
which is one, but love that.
All right,
Okay.
sweet.
So,
So,
how many tiers?
so 0.
Oh, I
yeah.
think 1.5.
Oh.
1 to 1.5.
Okay.
Not perfect. Major flaws. Good movie, though.
Quick reminder to the listener: our tier system
Is bass
is
backwards?
backwards. The more tiers, the worse movie that is. So the worst rating you can give a movie is 5 tiers. The best rating you can give a movie is 0 tiers. So Candy here voted 1.5.
1.5. That is
Yeah.
that is a pretty good
That's
rating
like
for yourself, right there.
Schindler's List.
That's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So let's do this. Let's popcorn over to go.
All right.
General
Oops.
impressions and tiers.
So this is my general impression, and then and then the score. And I want to say, first of all, that I love The Force Awakens, and I to this day defend it. I know, it's like A New Hope, whatever. Yeah, but I to this day defend it. So I'm not coming from a place of
hatred.
purists. No,
Of hatred,
I'm
like
not
me.
I'm not a purist. That's not what my issue with
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie is.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Here's my general impression. Even though I do have some fanboy complaints about the movie, I think the movie is a bad movie because beyond the fanboy inconsistencies, there are some very basic, very gaping problems with the plot of the movie and with the direction the movie takes. So even if this movie wasn't a Star Wars movie, even if it was just like
Yeah.
a regular movie, it would still be bad.
Just from the production creative side.
Yes.
Okay.
And so my rating is 4 tiers.
Oh.
Wow, all right.
Okay.
Dude, that's like verging close to
That's
like-
close to like Suicide
Suicide Squad.
That's yes.
No way. All right,
Yes.
cool. All right, sounds good. All right, let's popcorn it back over to Andrei, the light side.
Dr.
All
Dre.
right. So first of all, I want to say we have some major problems if Papa Blanco thinks that Schindler's List is a 1.5, but okay, that's beside the point.
It's an amazing movie.
It is it is an amazing
Sniper
movie.
shot.
So I saw this movie on Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. So not Thursday
right.
night, but early in the morning, the first day it came out.
Oh, so this is the
And I-
disclaimer part.
And I walked out
feel
thinking,
like, I feel like that's like a true fan, like not Thursday night, but Friday
In the
early
morning.
it's
morning.
a true fan that has kids, because you can't.
But sorry,
I would have
we
fallen
inter-
asleep.
But we interrupted you though.
No,
Okay,
no,
right now, the floor is you right now.
So I walked out thinking, the world is going to love this movie because I loved it, and then I saw some hate, and I was like, oh man, that's surprising indeed. Anyway, so my initial impressions are, I was on the edge of my seat. I loved where they went with different characters. I was surprised by a lot of the plot points, and I didn't care about some of the things that people have their butt panties in a bunch about.
Okay.
And
Butt pants.
They're butt panties. I thought the same thing.
I'm gonna get their butt panties.
Butt panties. All right.
and then my tiers is 0.5.
Whoa! Nearly perfect.
Yeah,
movie.
Better than Schindler's
Better
List.
than Schindler's List.
Schindler's List would be like a 0.
Casablanca?
Yeah.
No, dude. The Last Jedi.
Look, if you're going to study film.
All right, sounds
you
good.
Need to watch
All right.
Yes.
After that, let's drop it into the last one. Here we go. Papa Blanco. Sir Blanco, what do you think? What are your general impressions along with your tears?
Okay.
General impressions.
General impressions. I will admit that I tend to be on the negative side when it comes to a lot of
No, Blanco.
things. But I'm dead serious.
He's unhappy, that one.
I went into this movie trying to be as neutral as I could. And since the beginning, I've been saying that the Star Wars franchise is going down a bad road. Like, I've been on the record books. I've said it. I was a huge hater of Rogue One. But honestly, I really wanted this to be good. So I was in Honduras where I saw the film.
Was it in Spanish, though, the whole time?
No, it was in English. It was in English with subtitles. So I went in with a completely neutral mind. I was hoping that they would make it happen. I believe in J.J. Abrams,
Uh-huh.
but, he's a producer, not a director. I came out with this incredibly just depressed feeling that they literally killed the last thing in my childhood that's good. Like, they've killed Transformers, G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, and now they've killed Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
And I have to give it a 4.5.
Damn. No way, dude. This is... Okay,
No,
go ahead.
a 4.5
Compared
because
to, like, school.
Aren't you the moderator?
Because you're comparing it to, like...
He scores it a 3.
Justice over here.
You're thinking to, like, Transformers.
You're crazy and a red card. You're
outta here.
For having an
Objection.
opinion.
Get out of here.
But yeah, 4.5. I came out and just I was upset. I was depressed. I wasn't even angry. I was just sad. I was sad. I literally went to a cafe and we sat there and we drank coffee and talked about the movie. And the more I talked about it, the sadder I got. I wasn't even angry. I was just sad.
Dude, I went, ate dinner afterwards, and, like, the food had no taste.
It-
Just popped in a...
I just started.
Popped in a Damien Rice. And just
Damien
like,
Rice.
And
Cheers.
so it is.
Wow, dude. So we have both ends of the spectrum.
polarized.
That is really
Yeah,
crazy.
Polarized
Yeah.
views,
Opinions.
huh?
Nearly perfect movie to the worst movie I've ever seen. This is going to be an interesting... That's debatable. So here we go. Let's just jump into
Let's do it.
the first general topic of the movie. The plot.
Let's start small.
Let's start
Yes.
small.
So
Does that even matter?
Do I have enough time to run through all my points?
So let's start with a negative first.
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Let's talk about the plot, guys. Team Unhappy Cyclops over here.
Okay.
What do we got?
You want to take it or you want me
Go
to?
for it.
Timeline. We're in the middle of a chase, but apparently it's enough time for Rey to go to a desert island somewhere, meet Luke Skywalker, learn how to be a Jedi, and come back. And at the same
Don't
time,
even get me started about
dude,
that.
at the same time, Finn and Rose can go to Monaco because that's all it is, and then come back, with like, whatever.
I'm sure somebody went to go make a book and we're gonna a beer run too.
Right.
With Benicio del Toro.
With Benicio del Toro, the timeline doesn't make any sense. The second major plot problem is gravity, in my personal opinion.
Oh, my God.
Bombers drop bombs.
On the cruiser.
In
In space, that
And,
does
the
it.
cruiser-
here's
The cruiser was big enough that it had
No.
a gravitational
Oh,
It's
attraction.
not.
Whatever.
It's not, though. That's mathematics.
Here's
Yeah,
the
it's
thing.
not. It's not
I
big
do
enough.
like
Science,
I do
bitches.
like George Lucas' ode to World War II fighters. I love World War II, and so I like the idea of the bombers being that style. But there's massive problems when it comes to gravity and space, right? Mm-hmm. So are we just like throwing out the laws of science here? Because
Well, we
the girl
heard the
in
Death Star explosion, so from the beginning, this space is different than our space.
Totally agree.
I think
From
we have
where?
to imagine that the Dreadnought
yeah.
had a gravitational pull.
But-
That's-
and we'll
yeah.
get
But
into
as
that
soon
later.
as those bombs exited the ship, they should have just
I got
flown.
it.
So
No,
it's
I
like,
got it. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
As you just established, ships have their own artificial gravity.
Okay.
So that artificial gravity essentially launches the bombs out of the bottom of the ship, and they would retain their momentum. There's nothing. They're not hitting something to slow them down when they leave the ship.
And that whole thing where they're trying to escape that, the dreadnought, and it's shooting at them, and they say, well, we're going to run out of fuel. Well, guess what? You don't need fuel to move forward at a constant velocity in space. All you need is one push, and then that ship is going to move because of the momentum, because in space there's no air resistance or anything eternally. So that whole thing was a huge mistake on the plot. That whole
I feel like
problem
Tracy.
was imaginary. Because
But is that a problem that's unique to this movie? I kind of feel like that's the kind of lingo that gets thrown around with Star Wars.
Perhaps,
But it
but we're
wasn't
talking
thrown around
about
in
this
the
movie
last
right
one.
now.
Did anybody ever run out of fuel?
Well,
in
it didn't. There wasn't a lot of space travel in the last
But
one.
but in this
Other than
movie,
the
it was
Falcon.
maybe it's happened, but in this movie, it wasn't. It was one of like the main conflicts in the movie.
Yeah.
They spent half of the movie in that conflict, and it's dumb.
Can I suggest another scientific counterpoint to this? Although I will cede one part. They probably would want to constantly be using fuel to accelerate. Both those ships are going to want to be accelerating, trying
Maybe
to catch
But
up
they
or
weren't.
escape.
They-
They
momentum.
said constant. They said they were moving at a constant velocity. They actually said that. So they were not accelerating.
Yeah, they weren't.
You're right.
Okay.
They were moving at a constant
I see that.
velocity.
It would have
I see
made
that.
sense if honestly the whole fuel part didn't even need to be in part of the story
Yeah.
because you could have just argued that every time we jump to light speed we use fuel because that's a difference, right?
Right,
So you could say they're always going to be there behind us. We're moving at the same speed. But the whole
Right.
we're going to run out of fuel and they're going to shoot us.
Right.
That doesn't
It
make
was
any sense.
mostly a plot device to consolidate the crew to the one ship.
The fuel had to do with the shields as well. Like,
But it's all energy
Okay,
consumption.
that could be an argument
Energy
if they would have
consumption.
made that more clear.
But not
That-
the
life
but not
support.
the movement. Yeah, because it was also
But the ships
movement was a
did.
big thing.
The ships did. The other two ships that ran out of fuel did stop,
yeah,
and that is it's incorrect.
it doesn't make
It
any
is.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is incorrect.
But again,
Yeah.
it's apparently a different space.
Which something
It's a
that's
different,
tied.
you can make the argument that it's a different space.
now that's still lazy writing because
Well, yeah,
hearing
it's
the
a
Death Star and
different
using
space.
that is still. I agree.
I mean,
So
Lazy
in terms,
writing
of,
or
in
not.
terms of all this, I need to cut this down
Okay,
because
yeah,
we're getting
cut-
into science facts. So
Yeah.
the next,
Right, thank you.
None of us.
Let's not talk about science.
light side. What are some positive plot points in terms of the movie in general?
Okay, so positive plot points. This movie did not go down the way you expect. And it opens up, to me, it opens up a world in Star Wars where you don't know what's going to happen. And Star Wars becomes more, follow me here, follow me here, sexual undertones with sisters aside, more,
Gotta have that.
That was
more-
listed as a positive.
yeah, but more like Lord of the Rings is where, sorry,
Okay.
excuse me, more like Game of Thrones, excuse me.
Okay.
So, Game of Thrones is awesome because you don't know what's going to happen. They can kill off your favorite character, and it is accepted in that world.
Yeah.
And I believe because of this film, that is where this is opened up. People die in this movie, and there's real stakes. And not to say they didn't die before, because they did, but I feel like they killed off more people on this film than they had in other films. That's what I dug about the plot.
Okay.
It opens up.
I'll concede that.
Possibilities.
That's
We started to tap into this, and I think it's something everyone kind of agrees on, just may not agree whether it's good or not. These new movies, this collection of 3 new movies, colloquially referred to as a trilogy.
it's not a trilogy if they don't go together.
This new trilogy, what it is doing is moving the Force and the story to the common man. If you look at the story chronologically, if you look at Star Wars chronologically, the prequel trilogy is very big. This is about governments. This is about federations and important councils and people.
Okay.
Then the original trilogy brings it down a bit to a little more personal. And this new trilogy is sort of about the underdog, the everyman. Rey's parents are nobodies, you know? And that's something I think is really cool that this movie dove into.
Okay.
As we're finishing up the plot points
Okay.
now, I want to move on to the next thing. All right, I want to change it up a little bit by casting, and then I want to go into overall picture and music. So let's start it off here. We're gonna start with Team Positive.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with, all right, what did you guys think about music and overall visual appearance of the movie?
It cannot be denied. It cannot be over exaggerated how fucking awesome the Lightspeed Dreadnought Snoke's ship was, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the
I'll
best
give it-
moments in any, not just Star Wars movie, any sci-fi movie.
All right, yeah, I agree. All right.
We can just edit that out, or we won't. But I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
agree
fucking
with
awesome
that.
moment. I think the music was
Yeah.
great.
John
music was
Williams.
awesome.
Oh, who's gonna
Yeah.
sit here and be like John Williams didn't really
No
nail
question.
it this
Great
time?
job, well done,
Yeah.
Williams. We're gonna dive into some characters and how Luke Skywalker is the last Jedi.
Right. A
Or
rhetorical
not.
title.
Or not.
For this
Or
movie, what did you guys think of Luke Skywalker as a whole in his movie? Since we last left off as a cliffhanger with him in The Force Awakens. Team Unhappy, Cyclops. What did you guys think of Luke Skywalker?
Major problems is he believed in Darth Vader, the most evil man in the universe, galaxy, whatever.
He was the only one who
He was
believed
the
there was
only
some
one
good
that
in him.
believed in him. But then all of a sudden he saw this guy having a naughty dream, and he was like, "This guy apparently is so dark. I need to murder him in his sleep." Bit of a problem with that.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's completely counter to what Luke Skywalker's character
Yeah,
is.
it betrays his character. Okay, so that was one. My big thing is, other than the illusion, the Force illusion at the end, I don't think that Luke Skywalker did anything like meaningful of substance. We watched him on his like daily life, doing his daily things.
He jacked off that alien.
Yeah. He gave Rey the only
Milked the
meaningful thing he
alien.
did is he gave Rey one lesson, or maybe like half a lesson.
Kind of
That's
two
it.
and a half.
I think it was two.
Two and a
It was
half?
Two and a half.
two. It was two.
Which one? Whenever
Let's
he's
we'll
like,
agree on two.
The one where he's like, reach
Yeah.
out and touch fate.
Reach out with
yeah,
your
and that was it,
feelings.
and that was it. Which other lesson was there?
He also brought that grass out to bait her into the reach out joke. I did hate that whole moment.
But
Because
you know-
why did he have the grass? He threw it away right after
Oh,
she was.
he lost the fight to her because he's a Jedi master.
Well, the thing is, like, he didn't do anything
rusty.
meaningful, and with like the
Yeah,
amazing cliffhanger The Force Awakens had.
Yeah.
I was just
Oh, he threw his
excited.
lightsaber over the hill. Which,
Over the
Yeah.
cliff.
I was
Yeah.
excited to see him do something. It's like be the Last Jedi, and then it's also weak that the whole movie's called The Last Jedi, and then not really.
and then they're like, no.
Be bold.
It should be called The Last Jedi. Not.
Not
That's literally more.
basically.
Well,
Listen,
oh.
I think Luke has the most defining character arc in the whole film.
Yes.
We see him super curmudgeonly. We see him shut off to the Force, shut off to the world around him on this most remote island that you could find in the galaxy. And by the end of the film, he is the hero that we want him to be.
Yeah.
I think that when he was young and he believed in the goodness of Vader, he didn't know much about the Force. He knew some things. He was learning about the Force, and now he has become a teacher, and he saw something very frightening in Kylo Ren, had a moment of weakness that Kylo Ren misinterpreted, and it became a big problem.
I mean, he didn't misinterpret anything. The man was thinking murderous thoughts, so he didn't misinterpret anything.
Yeah, but he had remorse. He said,
Sure.
I'm gonna.
But to me,
He realized.
to
he
me that's
realized his
actually the
mistake.
opposite, because isn't the fact that and in the end Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, did the right thing after all the darkness that he's done. He did the right thing to the point that he can now return.
but
as a
everyone
Force
makes
ghost.
mistakes.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like the fact that Luke saw with his own eyes that somebody as dark as Darth Vader could be redeemed,
Like, he murdered children.
and even that could be redeemed. Why would he
You have
think
kids.
that
You
some
should understand
that
how-
some if scenario that he saw in Kylo Ren merits enough to try to murder him in his sleep? Murder him in his sleep. That's crazy.
This is a different Luke Skywalker. This is
we're
a
talking
different
about.
Luke Skywalker.
We needed
Why?
to see, we
But
needed to see
What
the
happened
different
at that moment?
But if you think
what
in
happened
the-
at that
in-
moment that changed himself?
Well, when you see the vision again, like it really had Luke just thinking in his mind, and he just had the lightsaber there, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't doing anything. But then Kylo Ren just saw him standing over him.
No, he said he thought about it, and perhaps even the
Right, he
Force
decided-
warned Kylo about it. He
Right.
thought about it, and
We
Kylo
saw
could have
two
felt that
sides.
disturbance in the Force.
We saw two sides of a
and
shitty story.
Surely the truth, as always, was somewhere in the middle, right?
Well, in the middle, but the middle doesn't even make any sense,
Dude.
because Luke Skywalker has always been the symbol of hope, right? He believed in Darth Vader when nobody else did. He believed in Darth Vader after
But he's
he murdered
human. He
children.
fought.
Luke has never been purely. There is some darkness in Luke as well.
Of
And
course,
so I'm
but
not.
there's darkness in
So-
all of us, but not like.
I want to respond to that we're normalizing it. We're not. I think the movie dealt pretty heavily. Maybe the thing that was developed the most was how bad Luke feels about the almost decision to murder Kylo Ren in his sleep. I think it's dealt pretty heavily with that. That's a bad thing, to the point that he feels so guilty and worn down by it that he doesn't even get the classic hero's moment of returning to duty. He still stayed on the island and was not that it was cowardly, but he didn't do what they were asking. He didn't answer the call to action because he felt so bad about this thing he did. He never even really fulfilled that part of his character.
Well, I think he did not. He knew he was not going to be able to take out Kylo Ren and the whole
That too,
army.
yeah.
And he did what he had to do to help the people escape, to give them hope, to let them fight another day, and then in so doing, helped Rey become the Last Jedi.
The
Yeah.
last rock mover.
The last, exactly. Well, and we know she won't be the Last Jedi. We know that she'll take up the mantle and train other Jedi,
Maybe.
to go
We'll
ahead
see.
and fight.
Training what? She was there for like 2 days.
She has all the books.
But no. Hold on. Which
2.5 days.
Which I guess this is kind of a kind of an organic way to bring the next my next problem, which was actually one of like my only issues against the Force Awakens is that how is it that Rey can is like so powerful, not just in the Force, which you could take it to the fact that he's just like really powerful in the Force, but fighting with a lightsaber too. And don't tell me that it's because she taught herself how to fight with a spear. Because first of all, a spear and a lightsaber are very different weapons, and second, that's like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna teach myself how to play with how to use a bow staff, and then that's gonna qualify for me to fence in the Olympics." She beat him in the Force Awakens. In this movie,
Yes.
she defeated all the red soldiers.
Yeah,
all
all the Imperial Guard.
and she actually did better than Kylo Ren because she had to save him. And I'm like, you can't say that that's just because she's strong in the Force, because there are 7 disciplines of lightsaber combat, and just being strong in the Force doesn't automatically just teach them to you.
But it is force-based. The skill is force-based.
not necessarily, depending on the style. And
Okay,
here's
but
the
it
thing.
can be.
But
You
here's the
acknowledge
thing.
it can
But
be.
she's not fighting, average Joes. Kylo Ren has been training his whole life. Luke Skywalker taught him, and then Snoke.
And
He's
then
been
Snoke,
under
yeah.
2 powerful masters doing nothing but training. And then Rey beats him with 0 training in
She's
the Force
just
Awakens.
better.
She's a
No,
survivor,
why?
bro.
She's just
She's
better.
never been taught.
She can move all those
you
rocks.
cannot go around
This
it.
movie-
This is not about the
I-
Force.
I-
It's
all
about
those rocks.
discipline. You don't just know how to sword fight.
Okay, but
Look.
here's my opinion on this thing. First of all, I did not love that about The Force Awakens either, that she just picked up a lightsaber and was amazing with it, and that she could Jedi mind trick a stormtrooper.
Exactly,
or whatever.
like, what?
That didn't make much sense to me. But she, in The Force Awakens, just started to understand that the Force is real, something that she didn't actually know was real, had heard rumors, had heard stories, whatever. I mean, this is not really where this discussion should be going, but I do have a theory that what was proposed in The Last Jedi was all BS, and that she has a lineage that is a Force-using
Hopefully,
family.
that would
But,
make more sense.
But that's neither here nor there. That's just a speculation on
It
my
just
part.
depends on which director gets the job.
Because Kylo
Yeah.
could be lying. I mean, Kylo's
Yes.
a manipulator.
That's
so
totally
we don't have to take that as like the ultimate word.
Her
that
parents
she's not.
could be nobodies, but also she ended up in,
Yeah.
yeah,
kind of
nobody's
so-
like in the fact that I killed him on a
Do
bridge.
you guys
and,
believe what Kylo Ren said about her parents being nobodies? It seemed like he was just trying to get into her
Jesus.
head.
If-
I agree with Candy in the fact that the underlying commentary of the everyday man. So I
Yeah.
think they're gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I think they'll stick with it. I think it could have gone either way. I think personally the reception to that moment has been pretty good. I think people like that there wasn't a "I am your father" twist,
Right.
Because everyone thought they were going to do that, and it was
well,
like
we
everyone.
thought they were
really
going to be
close.
brother and sister.
Yeah, that's what
For a
it
split
seemed
second,
like,
yeah.
and continuing the theme of step sibling, of sibling,
Of awkward moments.
between people who don't realize they're siblings yet. I think they're siblings in the Force in a cheesy way, just sort of brought up at the same time. They're of
Well-
a generation.
So bringing it down to the next character, Rose.
Oh god.
The new character Rose that supported Finn through this whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm just glad.
Unnecessary. Let's move on.
Wait, I know.
That's all there is. to
Manic
say.
pixie
Next
dream girl,
character.
fun, cute, but yeah, I mean, I don't see what
No.
does every character. My career as a playwright is ruined as if every character all of a sudden has to be necessary.
Look, let me just talk about Rose, right? Rose literally saved
Literally.
Finn at the expense of the entire rebel.
About the entire rebellion.
Yeah, entire
so she
rebel
could get a
because
peck on
she
the
got
cheek.
a peck on the cheek. Like
Yep.
that's literally what the care
Yep.
is. It's like, oh my God,
why she did.
we're stronger together. No, I'm pretty strong that goddamn battling ram is gonna blow the shit out of that
Yep.
door, and you're all
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
die
yeah,
if
yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't have great,
Yeah,
horrible
valid point.
plot writers.
I see them that. What do you think, Dre?
I totally disagree.
Oh,
What?
yeah, let's hear it.
What?
I'm excited to hear it. Yeah, go
It's
to
a
it.
great time.
All right,
It's
listen.
a great time.
All right.
See what he has to say.
Rose said, "You don't fight against the people you want to hurt. You fight for the people you want to save." This is what she did for Finn. That is a loose quote, by the way.
okay.
You
but-
save the
and
people
you're
you
there.
You save the
So,
people you love.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
You save the people you love.
Your Honor.
So she didn't know that Luke Skywalker was going to bail them out, but he did, and we're all thankful for that. He gave
Are
them,
we?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He
okay.
gave. This is the same point I've made like a billion times. He gave them the hope they need and the ability to escape. That's what he needed to do. He needed to regain
Yeah.
the Force. He needed to use that Force that he had been shutting himself off from, and he did something so amazing that hadn't been seen before, at least on screen. So that being said, Rose, all she did was be true to herself. She saved Finn. She couldn't save her sister. She wished she could have. She didn't. She saved somebody that she did like a burgeoning, let's say, romance, or let's say for strong friendship. Who gives a crap? So she couldn't tell that they're going to be saved. She might have wanted to die with him, but because she saved him, they both were able to fight for another day.
And then which by the way,
Yeah, that was well
Yeah.
done.
By the way.
I gotta say.
however, after she saves him, and they're like maybe 50 yards away from the big ATTs.
Yeah.
Nobody shoots them. They
I
don't
feel
send
like-
anybody to
I feel
capture
like
them
they
or
were
shoot
like-
them, and then they let them walk all the way back to the base, which is like
yeah.
a mile away.
Yeah, stupid.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
It was also pretty stupid. The moment
They were
where
following the salt foxes.
that's
Dude,
valid.
we haven't talked about, Mr. Moderator, if I may, about a huge, Princess Leia.
Oh wow, yeah.
Slash Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Let's start with the light side. Come on, guys.
I have a
Tell me about
Okay,
Mary
listen.
Poppins.
Brings in a
Okay.
new force
If I
power.
may, if I may.
No,
if I
you're
may,
right. Yeah,
If I
yeah,
may.
okay. Yeah.
I have a
This is gonna be
question.
like a 4-hour podcast.
I know.
I have a question I've been meaning to just Google, but my question is, did Carrie Fisher dying change any of this movie, or was she
No,
already?
it was the
honest-
next one. It was the
Okay.
next one.
I honestly
So-
thought, after that,
Yeah.
that one scene, I was like, all right, this is it. This is when.
Yeah.
That
well,
would make
in,
a lot
in
more
that
sense,
case,
wouldn't
if none of that was a result of her dying, then I agree. Pretty fucking dumb.
Dude,
I don't
she
know.
had a Superman moment.
I think that her having the Force and saving herself could have been cool. I read somewhere in ideas just have her use the Force to save herself initially, not fly out of the bridge and freeze and then kind of wake up weirdly. I agree. I think her saving herself was cool, but that was just
Wouldn't her blood
Really
just
weird.
boil instantly?
No,
like,
no.
No.
That whole
Not
no.
when
No,
you're a
in
Skywalker.
space you would start to freeze.
Oh, okay.
especially not if you have the Force.
But would
we
you-
let Guardians of the
Would you-
Galaxy do
would-
almost the exact same
Wait,
scene.
yeah,
so
would you-
Disney,
let's be
dude.
fair.
Would you-
And they own Fox now, man.
Would
Yeah,
you marry
fuck
Poppins back to the bridge?
I mean, if
is
you
that-
could,
is
yeah.
that a thing?
If you could.
No, that's I have another problem with that. Again, yes, I'm okay with the fact that I don't this is not a fact. I'm not saying this, but
Yeah.
I don't like the whole again she's never been trained in the ways of the Force.
They've never
and
showed her
you could
using
make
her.
it seem
Yeah.
to where it was a desperate moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would've
Okay,
been-
sure. Yes, I understand that, and it's valid, but again, man, it could have been so much better. She could have died.
I agree.
I would have loved
or
to
she could
see-
have died.
You know, it's like she could have, and Kylo should have shot her, man. That is so like heart wrenching and amazing for both characters.
What did y'all think of that one moment where he
Where he
stopped?
doesn't?
He doesn't
Because-
do it.
Yeah, interesting.
So far in this movie,
He kills his dad, but he hesitates for his mom.
Right now, just everybody, completely neutral mind here.
okay.
We have a character that doesn't kill his mom, doesn't kill his romantic interest, and then kills the most evil being in the universe. Oh, thank God that's Kylo 10, and he's going to be the villain of number 3. We don't have a good villain. That's the problem with this whole series. Is now our villain is so complex.
We have a selfish.
Kylo. I like
We have a
Kylo.
selfish,
I like
emotional,
Kylo.
petulant
Oh my
child.
God! You don't have a villain. Who? Redheaded, whatever his name is, that makes
Commander
every
Hux.
single. Dude,
No,
he's
no.
like 20 years
Domhnall
old,
Gleeson.
and he's
No,
supposed
I
to
like
be a
Kylo.
commander. Why not
I like
cast him as
Kylo.
an old guy?
He is not
I like
20
Kylo
years
too.
old.
He's like
He's
30.
23.
All I'm saying is
think he's
Kylo
like
Ren is a
45.
throwaway character.
No, he's
No,
not
not
45.
good.
No, sir.
Kylo Ren's a throwaway character.
Kylo Ren wants to make things in his own image.
That. Yeah,
He
he's
wants to be able
selfish.
to not kill his mom, but kill his mentor and have Rey.
He killed his dad, but doesn't kill his mom.
Exactly. He wants.
That makes sense.
All right, you choose
He
right
wants
now.
everything-
You kill your dad or your mom. Everyone go around the table. Choose.
It's like the movie The Good Son.
Kylo Ren is 29 years old. I
The
like.
incestual vibes between him and his mom are also important.
Oh,
I
What?
I like.
And listen, I'm not. This is what all of Star Wars is about.
this is what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I like
most
Kylo
common
Ren
theme.
as a villain. Again, I've always defended his outbursts
Okay.
and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it,
Good
it makes
villain
sense,
that-
dude.
Just
It
tell
makes
me who
sense.
Kylo Ren at this particular point has bested. Oh, Han Solo.
That bothers me.
Han Solo, who walked up and was like, "Give me a hug, son," and then he stabs him. Other than that, he's been beat by Rey. He's been beat by Finn.
He beat Snoke in the Royal Guard.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, you know, but he's saved by Ren because he
Yeah.
can't beat the.
Also,
Ren-
you know something
Come
else that bothered me.
on.
No, and again, I like Kylo Ren, but they are making him a little bitch that makes no sense. Something that bothered me is whenever like they break the lightsaber and it blows up, who wakes up last? Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Because Rey
He's never
He
been-
needs to be
better.
He
never
needs to
been
be more
concussioned.
intimidating.
Because Rey will just
yeah,
always
I agree.
be
He needs
better.
to be more intimidating.
But he has those spandex pants that comes up to his nipples.
does have the spandex nipple.
So we went through a lot of characters here, guys.
Uh-huh.
So I think maybe let's finish it up with some thoughts.
Should we finish it up with Captain Plasma? All right, we're done.
Did we talk about Phasma?
No. So I wanted to finish up with some of the last remaining characters. Like I wanted to talk about a quick appearance by Yoda.
Yeah.
and Phasma.
I'm okay with Yoda being a
Okay.
puppet.
So
That was awesome.
No, okay, I will give you this. I'm completely 100% okay with Yoda because
Yeah.
the director took the choice of making Yoda playful like he was
Yeah.
in Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Another reason that this is Empire Strikes Back.
Well, it was just a character cut.
I was okay.
No.
I was okay with Yoda, except that he told Luke that they needed Rey, but then Luke never actually talks to Rey.
That's not Yoda's fault, though.
But maybe,
Not
but
my fault
maybe
it is.
Luke, maybe Ghost Force Luke will appear to Rey in the future.
Almost
think that's
definitely.
right.
Yoda,
Which would be cool.
I'll give
Yeah,
Yoda
yeah.
a
That's why he
check.
died.
I'll surrender Yoda to
Thank
the pro.
you.
Oh, thank you.
We accept Yoda.
What does Finn do? Because I don't think he does anything in the whole movie.
He almost died.
And the whole
to
trilogy.
sacrifice.
There's a lot of characters who don't do much.
I thought he was interesting in the Force Awakens. We
He's
have this.
interesting.
We have this clone who's a defector, and who
He's not a
seem-
clone though.
I mean, I'm sorry, a stormtrooper who's a defector and who seems to have certain affinity to the with the Force. Hey, that's cool. That's intriguing, right? And then in this movie, it's like,
Well, he beats
just
the shit out of Captain
doesn't
Plasma.
do shit. Yeah, which she's supposed to be an elite
Phasma.
stormtrooper, and he still beats her.
Yeah, but
that's-
he's just a normal stormtrooper. But let's
Yeah.
not stumble on.
But it's
plot.
okay. Her and
Let's not trip on plot things. Like that would be weird. That would be weird. Look,
Let's
we need.
All right, Luke Skywalker.
All right, this
have-
is
we need-
Tennessee
Kylo Ren have had
Williams.
years of experience
We
in
need
training.
Let's just put on a good light show.
Yeah.
Is what we need
Oh.
to do. Hey, the scene with Rey and Kylo fighting the Red Guards was cool.
Cool
Hey,
as hell.
you know
Finally
something-
got a lightsaber.
Yeah,
whip.
that was
Thank
cool.
you. Telling us
You
who
know
they
what's
are.
really cool about
That's
those?
true.
About those.
Yeah.
About those guards.
What?
Is that each one of them had a different kind of weapon,
Like a Ninja
And
Turtle.
Like they were like.
Yeah, it was a
Ninja
real
Turtle.
racially diverse
It was a
royal
really
guard.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, it's like, I got my own thing. I used the bow staff, and then I used the chain.
They were cool as hell.
lightsaber,
Look
and
me
then
in the
I
eye
used
and tell me.
nunchuck.
Look me in the
I
eye and
used
tell me that wasn't
side.
cool as hell.
Oh my god!
I dare you to try and tell me
Ridiculous.
that you weren't weren't
Ridiculous.
popping a boner in your seat
Whatever,
during that
dude.
scene.
I'm popping a boner right now.
Yes.
Team Positive, special guest.
Yes.
What do you have? Any closing arguments?
I concede pretty much every one of your plot points except the science-based ones because I think I'm sort of agnostic on that issue. But yeah, I think there were some weak plot points. I also think there was some instances of can a character just make a mistake and that not be a plot hole? I also think there was a lot of Disneyfication, and I think there was some lazy, bad sci-fi writing. But I think there was more to a movie than a story. There's not as much to a script, but there was really good characterization, visual and sound. I don't think you can really underplay in a Star Wars movie how incredibly they were done. And a lot of rule of cool going on, which that's not a term I've made up. That's a legitimate writing technique. Is this is cool enough to overcome logic, and Star Wars can get away with that if anybody can.
Really cool.
Love it, man. I'll say what I really enjoyed about the film is that it brought, I was moved by the film. I was moved emotionally. I was taken to a place that I didn't think I would go. I didn't love the stuff on Monaco. I didn't love racing those weird llama things. Like, I thought that was weird. But
Should have been pod racing. Just should have been.
Should have been pod. I
yeah.
thought it was pod racing.
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't pod racing.
Should have been Lando also.
Yes, maybe so. But there's so much more that I liked about the movie than what I didn't like, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. I feel like the galaxy is expanded, and I think that we're at an exciting place. I think at the end of The Force Awakens, we still were in an exciting place with a billion questions, but now we have some of the answers and way more questions as well. So I'm happy.
Okay.
Those are the closing remarks from Team Positive and the special guest. Now moving on to Team Unhappy. Closing remarks.
I think at the end of the day, I'm a little depressed because I don't think LucasArts can actually come up with something creative on their own, because the first movie definitely knocked off A New Hope. Last Jedi is knocking off Empire Strikes Back. They have no total arc, so they're going to bring in a new director, and he's going to go in a completely different direction. They didn't capture Luke Skywalker at his essence, which I think is huge. I do understand that they're like striving for a new audience, and that's fine. I mean, the fucking minion penguin things, I mean, whatever. We put that aside, but at the end of the day, either go in a completely different direction or, respect the characters, and that's what they lost. At this particular point, we have a villain that could be a good guy or a bad guy at the end of the day, and we have a hero that apparently is a fucking master at the Force without even practicing. None of the characters at this particular point do I care about at all, because they haven't developed at all. To me, they took a really, really awesome franchise and they didn't develop it at all. They didn't take in any particular great new directions in any particular way, in my opinion. So, I hated it. They killed my childhood. Can you just give me some goddamn good writing?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
for
Monaco.
old man Stewart.
But at least,
Nothing left to
they
live
let
for.
the llama donkeys go in Club Monaco, because that gives me some hope. And that
Should've
little
been pod
kid,
racing.
and that little kid had a broom. Okay, cool. And they jacked off an alien.
Milked.
I agree with Disneyfication. A lot of it has to do with the suits.
Yep.
I think the porgs, the weak decisions on, like everything, the predictability of the movie in the sense that everybody ends on the side that you would expect them to end. And, I disagree with falling back on the rule of cool. And here's why. Because I think that the rule of cool applies to flicks that don't have a lot of substance. Michael Bay movies and one-offs, like Wanted and such. They're cool movies because they have cool shit in it, and that's cool, and they're a one-off, and that's fine. But I expect more from Star Wars. It has a very rich universe, a very rich lore. With the extended canon and the extended universe, they have very much of a guide. I'm not saying that they have to do the same thing. I'm not a purist, but they have like an overall guide of cool, like stuff to do that they can twist it on their own version. But again, and yet they fall on the rule of cool to pull it off. And I don't think that is the Star Wars that we deserve with such a brilliant story and all the directions they could take it. Not my direction necessarily, just a direction.
It's really hard to kind of gauge where we end in this movie because on this side of the spectrum, for the light side, they went completely to the light, almost zero scale, to where the unhappy side went almost to the 5 scale. So I have to say, I'm not going in a half, but I want to say 3.5. Not exactly a 4.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll
Not
take
exactly
it
a
too.
4, and not very close to like the beginning.
Yeah.
But there are some things that need to be worked on in this movie. So
Yeah.
I would say a 3.5 is a fair scale for this. It's debatable for Star Wars, and that has been a wrap for this particular movie for The Last Jedi.
All right.
And it's been fun. In the next 2 years, we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
J.J.
Who knows?
Abrams. So based
I'll
on
see you for the unnecessary Han
Dude,
Solo.
prove
Yeah.
me wrong, Disney. Prove me wrong.
prove me wrong. So based on that, I want to wrap it up and bring it back to Go to close us out.
Well, I just wanted to thank you so much to our special guest, Candy, a.k.a. Chandler Pennington. Thank you so much. Remember to check him out, Find Dirty Sexy at Bandcamp. Watch out for the Nobody's podcast and follow him on @Chandler_Pennington, man. Thank you so much for coming over.
Oh,
Thank
cheers.
you.
I think you guys had solid fucking arguments, man.
Thank you. I
Like,
hope to see you guys again.
great.
I was so down on the movie that I was like, there's no way anybody can defend this movie. And you guys,
Yeah, man, good
proved
job,
me
guys.
wrong. You
Well,
guys
thanks.
brought up some stuff.
Yeah.
You definitely brought some stuff that I hadn't considered. And especially your speech on the Luke arc was just amazing.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
think I
Yeah,
cheered up a
totally.
little bit. So thank you so much. Of course, we also have Dr. Dre, Andrei Constantinescu.
The real
Absolutely. Check it out at legacycasting.com.
Thanks, guys. I had a great time being here.
All right.
I'm still disgruntled with the ruling of the judges, but that's fine. I'll just stew on the way home. That's
He's
fine.
going to submit an appeal. He's going to submit an appeal,
Yes, sir.
it'll,
I'll see you in Supreme Court.
we're going to go to a higher court, we'll do the whole shenanigans. Blanco,
Life's hard.
it was a pleasure representing the dark side with you.
Dude, absolutely.
Absolutely. Eisman,
Something.
thanks for moderating this this monster.
Dark side.
Something dark
Have
side.
fun
man.
editing it.
Yeah, man. It was good.
It was a pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so
guys
much.
did awesome. Great job.
Thank you so much. This is Go, and as usual, stay unhappy.
Let's see. Do you guys hear that? Is it wind? Nah, let's just follow the salt foxes. What the hell? Why the hell were the salt foxes in there? Every single movie.
Because they're $30 a pop, Stuart.
Including
Blanco.
Rambo, he follows the wind in a cave. Every moron knows light a torch, follow the wind. That's how we get out, right? No, we're not going to follow the wind. We're going to follow the salt foxes. And thank God that Rey happened to be at the perfect place on the other side.
What a coincidence.
The Force. She's
What a
better. She's
coincidence.
better. Oh, I think we can all agree that movie needed more 80s montage.
Can we
Agreed? Agreed.
Dre,
Can we-
agreed?
I'm
Can
in.
we
Yeah.
talk about the humor of this movie? Because it was horrible. Cheers to Princess Leia.
Cheers.
Indeed.